Hello everyone and welcome in. I'm echohack and today we're going to deep dive into the best legendary gems for Diablo Immortal Season 1. By the end of this video, you will be prepared for launch with an eye for which legendary gems to watch out for. My tier list will also help you pick which gems to buy and sell in the marketplace in-game and which ones you'll want to keep for yourself. Now, legendary gems are incredibly powerful and one of the game's biggest progression systems. These are gained through a few different methods, including adding crests to Elder Rifts, crafting them at the Apprentice Jewel Crafter, or earning them from the Battle Pass. Now, the first important thing to know is that all legendary gems are valuable because you can use them as gem fragments to upgrade other legendary gems. Upgrading your gems will also require copies of the same legendary gem, so don't turn those copies into gem fragments. Now, legendary gems have 3 rarities or star levels. From most common to rarest, they are 1-star, 2-star, and 5-star legendary gems. Now, this represents the maximum amount of lit up gems that these different tiers can have. In other words, among 2-star gems, there are both gems with 1 star lit up and 2 stars lit up. If a gem has more stars lit up, then it's also more powerful and thus more valuable. Now, it's also good to understand that there are not any 3-star or 4-star legendary gems in the game. I think we can take a guess here that these are left out on purpose so that having a 5-star legendary gem with all 5 stars lit up is an extremely rare find. Because the 5-star legendary gems are the most powerful and the most rare, that's what we're going to see on the top of this list. But these gems are extremely rare and may not be available to you right away. So I've also ranked each gem from best to worst inside of its tier, going from left to right, giving you the maximum flexibility when you need to choose which gems to use. In other words, the best gems on this tier list will be in the top left, and the worst gems will be in the bottom right. Now, one thing before we jump into the tier list. When you use a gem as gem fragments to upgrade another gem, it's useful to know that it always retains all of the gem power from any previous upgrades. In other words, it's always safe to go ahead and upgrade your lower tier 1-star gems first, and later on use these as fodder for upgrading the ultimately more powerful 5-star gems down the road. You may even want to upgrade your 1-star gems to rank 10 first before upgrading 2 or 5-star gems, because these let you unlock awakening powers for your legendary items. Finally, it's worth noting that these are all the legendary gems that we know about before launch, but it's expected that Blizzard will add more legendary gems at launch and after launch. I'll have up-to-date guides on the channel here when we know all of these details about these gems, so make sure you're subscribed. I'll do a deep dive into legendary gem mechanics in another video, but now you should know enough to understand the upcoming tier list. So without further ado, let's jump in. First up, we have the most powerful legendary gem in the entire game, Blood-Soaked Jade. This gem gives you a percentage increase to all damage dealt and a movement speed bonus. It also unlocks a percentage decrease to all damage taken at rank 3. If you have this highly coveted gem, you will also want to have the 6-piece set bonus for Windloft Perfection, making your character move incredibly fast and deal damage as one. A close second is the vile legendary gem Seeping Bile. Attacks have a small % chance to poison enemies, inflicting devastating damage. If the victim dies, it spreads the poison to all nearby targets, making giant poison explosions for enemies tightly grouped together. Anyone with this gem will be feared. Third, we have the Blessing of the Worthy. This gem does damage to all nearby enemies when you're hit, dealing a percentage of your maximum life. This is the only gem in the game that does damage scaling based off of your life, making it particularly strong. It also unlocks percentage-based decreased damage after upgrading it to rank 3. This legendary gem is especially strong for melee classes, but it's also surprisingly good for ranged classes. Now, fourth is in our S tier ranking is Howler's Call. When you do a primary attack, it has a chance to summon a charging spirit wolf that does incredible damage to anything in its path. At rank 3, it also unlocks a chance to stun enemies. Now previously, this was the most powerful legendary gem in the game way back in the closed alpha, but it received a heavy nerf in the closed beta. Still, it's incredibly strong near the middle of S tier. 5th, we have Frozen Heart. This reduces all damage you take from enemies further than 3 yards away from you by 10%. At rank 3, it also unlocks a chance to inflict chill to nearby enemies for 3 seconds. Now, at first glance, this gem isn't particularly strong, but ranged projectile damage is some of the most difficult to dodge damage in the game, and 3 yards is just barely out of melee range. This is a welcome reprieve from the endless damage that you're going to face in PvP or challenge rifts. 6th in S tier, we have the Chip of Stoned Flesh. Your attacks have a chance to petrify your target, stunning them for 1 second. This cannot affect the same target more than once every 20 seconds. At rank 3, it increases all damage you deal to targets afflicted with Petrify by 5%. For PvP, this is an incredible gem that gives you an extra stun in nearly every engagement. It will also allow you to interrupt foes charging up for large attacks, saving you precious time during your farming runs. 7th, we have Phoenix Ashes. This 5-star gem prevents fatal damage and then grants a shield for 6 seconds that absorbs 100% of your life in damage. Now, you might think this gem sounds amazing, but the effect is underwhelming. It does not trigger any iframes, meaning that you can still be 100-0'd straight through the shield. The shield it grants is also based off of your current life and not your maximum life, so you will not have any time to react or to escape. At best, this will give you a last-ditch second or 2 of attacks before you crumple under your foe's attacks. Last in S tier is Echoing Shade. This embarrassment for a legendary gem will have a 15% chance to summon a shadow clone for 6 seconds that gains some of your abilities. At rank 3, it will summon up to 2 shadow clones at a time. Unfortunately, the AI and health for these clones is extremely poor, meaning they might get in 1 or 2 primary attack hits before poofing out of existence. They also frequently get stuck on obstacles and have no way of keeping up with enemies who dodge out of the way. For me personally, this is an instant fodder gem for 32 gem power that I'll be using to upgrade nearly anything else on this list. Alright, now let's start out at A tier. We have Power and Command. This extremely powerful gem alternates state every 9 seconds. Now, Power State increases your primary attack damage by 7.5%. Command State increases all other skill damage by 7.5%. At rank 3, it unlocks the ability to dispel a negative effect on you each time Power and Command alternates, at an 8% chance. Now, next up we have Fervent Fang. Each attack you make against an enemy increases the damage it takes from your attacks by 0.75% up to a maximum of 7.5% at 10 stacks. At rank 3, it unlocks all damage you deal to elite monsters increased by 1.5%. This is an incredible gem, especially for single target damage on bosses, and it should be in nearly every PvE build. Now, third on A tier is Lightning Core. This allows your attacks to have a 10% chance to call Chain Lightning. At rank 3, it also increases all damage your attacks deal by 1.5% for 3 seconds after calling Chain Lightning. This Chain Lightning is extremely useful for burst DPS, making it a valuable asset in any game mode, but especially PvP. Now, fourth, we have Bloody Reach, an absolutely essential legendary gem for ranged classes. This increases all damage you deal by 1.5% for every 2 yards between you and the enemy hit, up to 6% at 8 yards. At rank 3, it allows your attacks to have a chance to decrease enemy attacks and movement speed by 8% for 2 seconds. Fifth, we have Cutthroat's Grin. This gives you 7.5% increased critical hit chance when attacking from behind. At rank 3, you deal 1.5% increased damage while attacking from behind. This is particularly useful for melee classes and a coveted source of hard-to-find critical hit chance. Now, 6, we have the Hunger. It heals 5% of your life each time you kill an enemy. At rank 3, it gives 1.5% attack speed for 3 seconds each time you kill an enemy. This gem might sound good on the face of it, but it's only useful in challenge rifts, and even then, it's marginally useful at best. It's hard to use this gem when there are so many other gems that increase your damage dealt. Now, 7th, we have Battle Guard. This is the little brother of Frozen Heart, but instead this reduces all damage you take from enemies within 3 yards of you by 6%. At rank 3, you can move unhindered through enemies while your life is below 15%. Neither of these abilities is particularly good, since melee damage is fairly easy to dodge in PvE. Unit walking or moving unhindered is also granted by a number of skills in the game that are likely already in your build, making this gem fairly redundant. Last and definitely least in A tier is the Unity Crystal. This disappointment of a gem splits 7.5% of the damage you take with other party members within 9 yards. At rank 3, it decreases all damage you take by 0.5% for each party member using this gem. For me, this gem instantly goes into the gem fodder. I wouldn't want to be caught dead in a back alley in Westmarch using this one. Now let's head over to B tier. First up, and the strongest starter gem in the entire game, is Everlasting Torment. With this gem, your critical hits inflict agony, dealing damage every second for 3 seconds. Each enemy can only be affected by this once every 6 seconds. At rank 3, each nearby enemy afflicted with agony increases your attack speed by 1%. This is an incredible gem anywhere in the game, but it's especially potent when combined with the Crusader's Holy Banner skill, allowing you to automatically critical hit. It's also especially powerful in challenge rifts, giving you incredible attack speed in large groups of enemies. Now second is Berserker's Eye. This gem increases all damage you deal by 5%, but also increases all damage you take by 6%. At rank 3, it also increases your critical hit chance by 1%. This gem offers a rare source of critical hit damage and gives you an incredible amount of percentage-based damage increase in the 1-star gem. This makes it one of the best starter legendary gems in the game. Third up, we have the Trick Shot gem. Channel skills consume energy 10% slower. At rank 3, you take 2% decreased damage while using a channeling skill. This gem is absolutely insane for some builds, particularly Whirlwind Barbarians. It allows you to spend a significant amount of time dealing damage, and it also reduces damage taken while you're at it. Now fourth, we have Seled's Weakening. With this gem, you'll gain a 6% increased damage for 50 seconds after killing an elite monster. At rank 3, it increases all damage you deal to an elite monster by 1%. Overall, this gem helps you deal a lot of damage in PvE, speeding up your farming runs and making high tier challenge rifts possible. Fifth in B tier is Chain Death. This increases damage done by your attacks by 1.5% per target hit, up to a maximum of 4.5% with 3 targets. At rank 3, the bonus increases to a maximum of 4 targets at 6%. This is a great source of free damage, as you'll almost always be attacking small groups of enemies in PvE. Even most challenge rift bosses summon adds, making this valuable in nearly every situation. Sixth up, we have Karasan's Invigoration. This gem increases the speed of your primary attack by 6%. At rank 3, it also increases the damage of your primary attack by 2%. This is a fantastic gem for any class with a good primary attack skill, adding consistent damage output. Now from here on, we're getting into the bad gem territory, and it only gets worse as we go, so prepare yourself. Seventh on the list is Defiant Soul. Each time you block an attack, you deal 50% base damage to all nearby enemies. This cannot occur more than once every 3 seconds. At rank 3, you decrease all damage taken by 1% for 3 seconds after blocking. Overall, it at least does something, but I'd probably trash this gem if you have anything better. Now, number 8 on the list is the Zod Stone. Now, this gem is actually decent for necromancers, but it's instant gem fodder for almost anyone else. This increases the duration of your ultimate skills by 20%. At rank 3, it increases the damage of ultimate skills by 5%. It's not that great considering that you rarely use ultimate skills. Number 9 is Pain of Subjugation. This gem deals 6% increased damage to enemies suffering loss of control. At rank 3, it decreases all damage you take by 1% while suffering loss of control on your character. Overall, this is a hard to use gem, and it doesn't really live up to the numbers that it has on paper. 10th on the list is the Respite Stone. This reduces all damage you take by 1% for every 10% of your life below maximum, up to a maximum damage reduction of 5%. At rank 3, you gain 4% increased armor while your life is below 50%. Almost any mechanic that requires you to lose life to gain a benefit is going to be bad, and this one is pretty bad, especially because it does not protect you from larger hits. Now we're getting into the absolute trash. We have 11th in the B tier is Lowe's Focus Gaze. With this gem, your charge skills charge 10% faster. At rank 3, charge skills also deal 1% increased damage. Charge skills in general are fairly bad, and the numbers for this gem certainly don't help much either. 12th is the Black Rose. Each time you are attacked, you have a 10% chance to summon vines that immobilize the attacker for 1.5 seconds. Each enemy cannot be affected by this more than once every 12 seconds. At rank 3, your chance to summon vines is increased to 12%. This can be marginally useful in PvP, but overall there are better gems that deal damage that this one simply doesn't help with. Now, 13th on the list in B tier and second to last is the Nightmare Wreath. With this gem, you have a 10% chance when you kill an enemy to cause other nearby enemies to flee in fear for 1 second. This cannot occur more than once every 20 seconds. At rank 3, it increases all damage you deal to targets afflicted with fear by 1%. Now, this might be useful marginally for some really odd Necromancer build, but frankly, it's just bad to fear enemies in general because it makes them harder to kill. I would avoid this gem or turn it into gem fragments. Now last, and the very least, and the very worst gem in Diablo Immortal is Mocking Laughter. With this gem, your primary attack forces non-elite monsters to hits to attack you for 2 seconds. At rank 3, you decrease all damage you take by 1% from monsters affected by Mocking Laughter. Now conceptually, this is some kind of taunt gem, but taunt mechanics and tank mechanics simply just don't exist in Diablo Immortal, making this pretty worthless. Send this one straight to the trash compactor, or gem fragment compactor, folks. Now, we've covered all 30 legendary gems in this tier list. Whew. Tell me what you think in the comments down below. Do you have a favorite gem that you're looking for? Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.